yeah, so I collected GameCube like a few years ago, semi-actively. I don't really know why I didn't have a GameCube growing up. I was in the Wii generation, so I had a Wii and I played things like, Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart Wii, stuff like that. Though the Wii was backwards compatible with the GameCube, so I remember when I was like 13 or so, I went to a game store and I bought Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube because it was like $6, and I was like, oh my god, what a deal. But I didn't actually have a GameCube controller, so I could never play it. Years later, I ended up collecting for GameCube. So today I'm going to show off the games that I have. I've got about 20 or so games, so this should make for a pretty long video, especially if I start yapping about them. So, sit back, relax, get into a comfy position, close your eyes if you want to. You'll miss out on some epic cover art though. Yeah, let's get started. Also, I'm trying a little bit of a different lighting situation here. It's a little bit brighter than in the last video because I thought it was maybe a little too dark, and it made me look a little scary. That's obviously not what I'm going for. So, okay, let's get started. This is in alphabetical order, which is how I organize my games. So first we've got Animal Crossing, the original Animal Crossing. This series, if you didn't know, I'm going to open it further away. This series started on GameCube. We got the manual here, and here's the disc. I don't have manuals for every game, but a decent amount. Okay, I might need to not open the cases. But yeah, this is the original Animal Crossing. I'm a big fan of the Animal Crossing series. I wasn't super crazy about New Horizons. I did enjoy it, and I was one of the, it feels like billions of people who played it a lot during early quarantine. But I honestly think that this one might be my favorite because it just has so much charm to it. Like, the villagers are kind of mean sometimes, and I don't know why, but I love that. Like, I love that they're kind of rough around the edges. I feel like in New Horizons they're kind of boring and a little bit like too nice. I know you're supposed to be creating like a wholesome community, but I think the original game has a lot of good character to it, and yeah, I'm a big fan of the original game. But I did have City Folk on the Wii, which was also pretty fun. You could collect, I think in this game too, you can collect NES games that you can just like play all of, which is pretty sick. So this would be a good like desert island game because not only do you get to play Animal Crossing, but you get like maybe 25 NES games, and I think like you can play like Legend of Zelda and the original Super Mario. So that's Animal Crossing. Moving on. Okay, these are not alphabetized. I was wrong. So this is the Luigi's Mansion copy that I bought probably a decade ago now. I can't see the price anymore. It looks like it says $4.99, but I could be wrong. Yeah. I beat this game properly a few years ago. I really love it. I think it's such a cool game. It's pretty short. It's like 5 or 6 hours. To just beat it, not doing like everything. You can obviously like catch all the boos if you want to, But I also think, okay, this is going to be an opinion of a lot of the GameCube games I talk about, but I think that the game, like a lot of GameCube games, are very charming and novel. You know, there a lot of series were started on the GameCube, and you know, I think the GameCube was a chance for Nintendo to do like a lot of experimental stuff, like this game. You know, because every Nintendo console launched with a Mario title, and then, you know, the GameCube launches with this, which is technically a Mario title, but not really. Yeah, super fun game. I love the training music. It's such a banger. If you haven't heard it, look it up. It's really, it's like some of my favorite music. Obviously, the theme of Luigi's Mansion is also great. But yeah, good game. Big fan of this one. I hope the tapping sounds are nice as well. Luigi. Okay. Okay, maybe the rest of these are. Yeah, I think maybe Luigi's Mansion was just out of place. Okay, so next we have Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. I do have the bongos. I'm not sure where they are. I think they're under my bed somewhere. But I do have the bongos. I have not beat this game. I don't know. I bought it a few years ago. Oh, I actually bought it at a convention at C2E2, which is like a convention in Chicago that it's sort of more of like a superhero angle. Like it's more like comic book oriented, but it has some video game stuff too. And I bought this along with the bongos like a few years ago. It's fun. It's sort of like a platformer, but a little bit like rhythm based as well. I might beat it someday, but you know, for now, it's just gonna sit here and look pretty on my game shelf. I do like the cover art though. It's pretty cool. I don't know who all of these guys on the cover are. I mean, I know this one, obviously. String together aerial combos to collect more bananas. The more you get, the more stages you'll unlock. Over 40 areas to unlock in all. That's actually not that many levels. Sorry, not to be rude, Mr. Back of the Box. But okay, let's move on. Next, we've got Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. Melee, sorry. There's a really tiny little, like, subtitle in here that says Melee. I love this game. I think it's so fun. It's sort of like, it's a fighting game, but I don't know if you can see on the back here, but you kind of go here. I think that might be the best one. You're like in a big city, and you just like beat the hell out of each other as different Godzilla monsters. So you can play as, you know, Rodan, Anguirus, Mecha Godzilla, the Godzilla from the 90s movie that's really bad, King Ghidorah, Mothra, obviously Godzilla, Destroya, like pretty much all of the mainstays of Godzilla movies you can play as in here. And, you know, it's less of like a competitive fighting game like a lot of the modern fighting games are, and it's more of like a fun party fighting game. This honestly might be the GameCube game I've played, like, okay, it's not the game I've played the most. We'll get to that later, but this is probably like a top 5 most played on the GameCube. It's really fun, and yeah, I'd recommend it if you're looking for like a fun sort of, you know, casual game that you can just like play while you're chilling out with a friend. It's good fun. Anyway, okay. it's like in a DVD case instead of the GameCube, because the GameCube has a pretty like meaty case, but this one's very like thin. But you know, it still has the game in it, so it'll do. Yeah, so this is the Wind Waker. I have actually not played this one. I've watched my girlfriend play like through half of it. It's obviously on the to play list, but I'm very much like a Steam PC oriented gamer, because it's a lot easier to like organize into what I want to play and what I, you know, have played already. But yeah, I love the art style in Wind Waker. I know a lot of people. Sorry, that was really loud. I know a lot of people prefer the HD version, but I personally love the art style in the original game. I think it's awesome. But yeah, I haven't played it, but from what I've seen, I've also watched some of like the Game Grumps Let's Play of the Wind Waker, and you know, I've seen like speedruns of it. So like I know a lot in terms of like how the game, you know, goes, but I haven't played it personally. Alright, moving on. Oh my god. Next we got Lego Star Wars, the video game. Now, obviously, the complete saga exists now, so this game isn't really relevant anymore. But I still love, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was raised in sort of like the prequel generation, but I love the prequels. I unabashedly love all of them, all three movies I love, and you know, obviously I love the Clone Wars and all the stories in there, but this is probably my preferred Lego Star Wars game. You know, the hub world is different in this one. You're at Dexter's Diner instead of the Cantina. But yeah, I'm such a big fan of this game. It's so good. I should sit up more, but the mic is down here, so I have to I have to come down here. It's not good for my posture, but it's alright. Lego Star Wars. Lego Star Wars. The best one. This is subliminal messaging. This is the best one. Don't listen. Don't listen to the Skywalker Saga lovers. This is the best one. I'm just kidding. You can like whichever one you want. This is my favorite. Well, that transitions swiftly into Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. I find it pretty interesting that the second game was about the prequels. I don't know why. That's so funny to me. But, yeah. This is Lego Star Wars 2. Sorry. Okay. So this is Lego Star Wars 2. The original trilogy, you can see $5.99. What a steal. So this is the one that actually does take place in the Cantina as your hub world. Yeah, obviously the complete saga allows you to play all 6 movies in one game. But there's something that's really charming about like only having 18 levels in a game. I feel like it made it more enticing to complete, maybe. You know, you had a more limited character list. I think this is the one where you can unlock Indiana Jones, and then in the first game I think you can unlock Han Solo maybe as like a bonus character, which is cool. It's the sequel to the award-winning Lego Star Wars video game. Nice. Very cool. Alright, moving on. Alright, next we've got Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is... Oh, it looks like this one was purchased in Canada. That's right. Okay, so, little lore drop here. one of, if not like the most acclaimed GameCube game to exist. You know, I can see Wind Waker or Melee taking that throne, but I mean, Metroid Prime is really, you know, hotly debated as, you know, one of the best games ever made. And this is the part where I say I haven't played it yet. I honestly probably won't end up playing this version if I do ever play it. I'd probably end up playing the Switch remaster, because, you know, it just streamlines a lot of the annoyances that people have with the original Metroid Prime. I hope these tabs are okay. There's kind of like a, you know, the DVD is kind of knocking around a little bit. I don't know if that's really pleasant at all. It better be at least decent. I'll try to tap really softly on it. Really softly. But yeah, have not played it. That's unfortunately going to be the theme for a lot of these because, I don't know why, I'm a lot worse about handling my physical game collection than I am about my digital game collection. Not really sure why. I've beat like over 200 games on Steam, and yet I can't get through like a 20 game library. I don't know. Yeah, this game came out the year I was born, I think. If it's 2002. Rated T for teen. Apparently it links to Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy, which is cool. Yeah, so obviously the reason that I knew that I got it in Canada is because there's French on it. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I need a water, and I don't have any water in my cup. Never mind. It's alright. Alright, next up. Paper Mario, the Thousand-Year Door. This is one I have played a good chunk of. I have not beat it, but I've played a lot of it. Honestly, this might be my favorite GameCube game. Just in terms of like how well written it is. I think most people can agree that it's the best Paper Mario game. You know, I guess there's debate to be had about like the original, and I know some people really like what was it called? The Origami King, the one for Nintendo Switch. But this one is just absolutely overflowing with charm. It's so well written and so funny, and you know, it's got a great battle system that a lot of games have taken inspiration from. One game I played through called Bug Fables takes a lot of inspiration from the Thousand-Year Door specifically, and it's a really good game. But anyway, this game is very good. Yeah, super charming. It's pretty long because you know, it's an RPG, but I would say it's definitely in like the top 10 most well-written games of all time. Am I confident in saying that? I don't know. Maybe. In terms of Nintendo games, absolutely it's top 10. Best writing, because a lot of Nintendo games don't really have much writing. I don't know. I'd have to think about it in like the general gaming sphere. Maybe. It might make like the top 20, because I'm already thinking of a lot of games with better writing, like Disco Elysium, probably Mass Effect 2, Knights of the Old Republic, stuff like that. Baldur's Gate maybe has better writing. I don't know. It depends. It depends on what you value in writing. If you value cleverness and like consistency of like being funny, this is probably a top tier. But yeah, that's Paper Mario, the Thousand-Year Door. Oh my god, you guys. I've totally forgot about this. Okay, this is my actual favorite game on the GameCube. It's Pikmin, baby. I fucking love Pikmin. I don't know about the swearing policy when it comes to ASMR videos, but Nintendo series. Um, for me, it's like the most consistent series Nintendo has ever done. My personal favorite entry is 3, but a close second is the original game. I played this over the summer last year, and oh my god, it's like such a unique concept. To get stranded on this foreign world and have to use these guys, these Pikmin, to like collect your ship parts. It's like really stressful your first run through because you think, oh my god, I'm gonna run out of days and I'm not gonna be able to launch, or if you are able to launch, you're like not gonna be able to get every part, which I'm pretty sure I got every part and I left with like 2 days left. But I think when you beat the game, it tells you how many Pikmin you've lost throughout the game, and it said that I'd lost over 1,000, which is crazy. I can't believe I lost that many Pikmin. I got a lot better about it in subsequent games. This is probably the second hardest Pikmin game, I would say. Pikmin 2 is obviously the hardest for those of you who have played it, unless you have a lot of purples. Well, I'm about to talk about Pikmin 2 anyway, so I won't get into that. But yeah, this was, I think, like my 5th or 6th favorite game of last year. I played through every Pikmin game last year. Pikmin 3 was my 2nd favorite game of last year, I think. It actually might have been my game of the year last year. I'm obsessed with Pikmin 3. Maybe we'll do a Switch video as well, because I have much less Switch games than I do GameCube, but I've played most of my Switch games, so I can actually talk a little bit more about each game. But this game is incredible. The soundtrack, the soundtrack is like so good. It's really great for studying too, if you need good study music. The Forest of Hope is awesome. Distant, I can't think of the name of it, but each level has a distinct like theme, and they're all bangers. But yeah, love Pikmin. One of my favorites. Let's move on. To Pikmin 2. Okay, now I have a little bit more of a complicated relationship with this game. I still like it a lot. Let me be clear on that. But I'm personally in the survival camp more than the dungeon crawling camp when it comes to Pikmin games. 1 and 3 are sort of more survival. You're on the surface a lot. It's about, managing your resources. And Pikmin 2 and 4 are a lot more about dungeon crawling and collecting treasure instead of ship parts, or in Pikmin 3's case, fruit to like food. So yeah, Pikmin 2 did introduce white and purple Pikmin, as well as Louie, who I love Louie. I think he's a hilarious foil to Olimar. But yeah, I wasn't as crazy about Pikmin 2. It's pretty hard. Some of the dungeons are pretty tough if you don't have a lot of purple Pikmin. There's also the unfortunate truth that that purple Pikmin are just overpowered. No one can dispute that, because it's just true. And if you disagree, you can fight me on it in the comments, because I think that purple Pikmin were way overtuned. And I find that you're a little bit too over-reliant on the purples throughout the game, which is why it's one reason why I didn't like it as much. But it's still a very good game. I know I haven't said anything good about it, but it's still Pikmin at the core, so it's enjoyable, for me at least, because I really like the formula. I like managing a lot of things, but in games like 2 and 4, you're managing a little bit less, and you're doing a little more focused battling, which I'm not as big of a fan of. But anyway, yeah, still a great game. Pikmin 2. seen the movie. I don't know. I think I just thought the cover was cool, which is very like mid-2000s game buying of me to do. I didn't research it at all. I just bought it because, you know, it was $5 and I was like, why not? Have not played it. But, you know, it's got a cool cover. Rain of fire. Apparently there's clips from the movie. So, I mean, like, there's helicopters, like, bombing a dragon. I don't know. And, like, you can see Big Ben in the background. Like, what? I don't know. Okay, we have 4 games left. First, Battle for Bikini Bottom, SpongeBob. This is one of the best licensed games I've ever played, I think. Surprisingly really quality. I do think it was easier to make good licensed games like 15 years ago. The standard for video games is a lot higher now, so I think it's harder to make a good licensed game. I do think that Indiana Jones game was like a recent example of something, of a game that was actually really good. I haven't played that, but I've heard really good things about it. But yeah, Battle for Bikini Bottom is definitely one of the best licensed games, I would say. It's pretty fun. I was really into the speedrunning scene for this game. Not playing, I just loved watching speedruns of this game. For a while, I watched a lot of Shift HD, like 8 or 9 years ago. And it was really fun to watch because it was a pretty, like, niche game to speedrun. And so, like, the 5 people that ran the game would find, like, new skips all the time, and new ways to, like, save time. And it would be really, like, engaging to watch new runs, because, like, any run could be a world record run, as opposed to, like, you know, games like Super Mario 64, which is so, like, well streamlined that it's very rare that someone will take a record, you know. I think that, you know, they're still really fun to watch, but it's games like this that really are like fun to watch evolve, you know. If you're just looking for like an engaging speedrun, I definitely think like Mario 64 is really good for that. But this one was fun to watch, you know, evolve over the course of, you know, however long I watched, which was probably like a year. He is our only hope. The evil plankton has set in motion his most diabolical plot ever. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are we doing on time? Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Next game. Actually, I'm just gonna put the last 2 up here. I maybe should have done that the whole time. Okay, next game is the Star Wars Rogue Leader. Rogue Squadron 2. I don't have the original Rogue Squadron, but this is a pretty fun Star Wars game. It's not super in-depth. It's a lot more arcadey, which is something you'll probably notice about a lot of GameCube games. A lot of them are very like pick up and play fun. You know, like the Godzilla game, or, you know, Donkey Kong, Jungle Beat, stuff like that. But yeah, this is, I would say it's a pretty confident top 5 Star Wars game. My personal number 1, well, okay, besides Lego Star Wars, is probably Knights of the Old Republic. Jedi Fallen Order is also pretty good, and I'm a big fan of Republic Commando. But I can slot this in at like 5 pretty confidently. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rogue Leader. It's strictly space battles. Well, you can also go on Hoth, but when I say like space battles, I mean you're in a ship at all times, which is not usually my preferred like Star Wars game. I usually like being a Jedi or a clone or whatever. You know, I like being on the ground. In general, you know, for games. I'm not usually like a big flying game guy, but this was still very fun to play. Yeah, featuring the voice of Dennis Lawson, the original Wedge Antilles. That's pretty cool. You can be Luke or Wedge. I don't think that Mark Hamill was in this game. That's alright. He wants to be the Joker. Okay, we got 2 more games. You know what? We're gonna go a little out of order here. Okay. We've got a Viewtiful Joe, which I also got at the same game store that I got Rain of Fire, if you can tell by the similarities in the tag. So, funny story about this game. When I plugged in the GameCube to my TV to play this for the first time, I plugged in like the wrong video cables, and so the game started in black and white, and for like the first hour of playing it, I thought the game was just in black and white, which obviously, look at the cover, it's not gonna be in black and white, bro. So I eventually looked at the cover and I was like, wait, I don't think this game is supposed to be in black and white. But anyway, it's a Capcom game who, I'm not gonna lie, have had a pretty solid output recently. With Devil May Cry. That's the right, yeah, Devil May Cry and Resident Evil. They've been pretty solid recently. And by recently, I mean like in the last like 8 years or so. Because Resident Evil 7 and 8, the remakes, DMC5, stuff like that. But anyway, Viewtiful Joe is like a side-scrolling action game. It's very stylized, as you can see by the cover. It's sort of like a superhero game. I think it takes a lot of inspiration from like Japanese superheroes, a little bit of Power Rangers in there probably, and some like Ultraman, stuff like that. And it's sort of themed around like being on the set of a movie, which is really cool. Yeah, it's a fun game. I don't know why it's rated T. That's a little weird to me. Did they say why? Cartoon violence, suggestive themes. Guys, they talk about heavy stuff in this game. Alright, last but not least, we've got my magnum opus. This is my most played game on the GameCube by a country mile. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I don't know why he looks so like nonchalant on the cover. He honestly looks a little stoned, if I'm being honest. But yeah, this is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I would say it's my favorite Tony Hawk, but I've only played this one, so I can't really judge that. This is a fantastic arcade-style skate game. Obviously there are games like Skate 3, and I can't really think of any others. But there's the type of skating games that kind of emphasize the realism. Make it so you have to manage a lot more, and give you a little more like free reign to do stupid shit. But Tony Hawk is an incredible game to just like play for 15 minutes or 5 hours. I would say that I've probably sunk a good 100 hours into this game. There's a bunch of awesome levels. I love the Canada level and the airport level. Those are great. There's a lot of good like licensed music in this game as well. They got Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't recognize any of the other artists on here. It says Exhibit and Alien Ant Farm. Those are probably very 2000s bands. But yeah, this game is awesome. I'm such a fan of it. It's really like satisfying to build up long combos. And there's a lot of variation in the tricks you can do, which is why this is a little tangent here, but which is why when I played Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which is like a Jet Set Radio basically, in like the complexity of the tricks you can do. But in Bomber Cyberpunk, you just press one button, based on like what vehicle you're using, because you can use like skateboards or bikes or rollerblades, but you can't like switch between them mid combo. So that was a little bit disappointing. Anyway, yeah, this is sort of my gold standard for like a skateboarding game. I have not played Skate 3. I do want to, because I think it looks really cool. But yeah, this is definitely my most played. I wouldn't say it's my favorite on the GameCube. That would definitely be Pikmin. But it's a top 3 for sure. Yeah, so that is Tony Hawk 3. Yeah, so that is the last game in my GameCube collection. I do have decently sizable PlayStation 2 and Switch collections, as well as a few like other games for other consoles. So yeah, if you want me to, if you'd be interested in a Switch video or a PS2 video, or I have like so many Wii games, I'll definitely do those videos regardless, on if someone asks for them or not, because I just love talking about games. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I didn't do very much tapping. This was mostly whispering. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment, like and subscribe, all that good stuff, if you want to, of course. If you're still awake right now, I'm sorry. I tried my best. Maybe my discussion was just